I think we're live. We're live here. This is the Fantasy Football Forge. If you're here in the future, there will be a draft of sorts. If nobody shows up, it'll take a little bit longer, but you'll see I'll switch over to doing an underdog draft in that case. So, first of all, there are going to be a few announcements of stuff that's happened in the NFL over the past day. Shorter list than has been as of late, so that's always, that's probably usually good. And it is mostly good. Let's do that after I show you. Up on my website, www.theffforge.com, you can find all my most recent rankings up on top. There's a little rankings tab that I don't believe you can quite see, but it's easy to find. It's there. And there you see all of my rankings. You just click on these. They'll bring you to the rankings. And also, I keep this updated. It's ready to go for the weekend. And unless there's some big update, then there will be an update, and I'll get that done. At this point, it's really going to take something major, basically a major injury in most cases, to change the rankings. I got them pretty locked in. Or maybe I hear a convincing argument, but nothing should shift anything too significantly. So you can see here's the cheat sheet that you can print off by just clicking right on this printable draft sheet icon at the top of the page there on the rankings page on my website. And plenty of players here for you to draft. Got them broken up into little tiers to help you with while you're in the draft as well. This is not exactly my rankings, just a heads up. This is my rankings averaged with the most recent ADP. So there you go. The roll. What up? Dave Flowers is overrated. I don't have any other receivers there. I think he's properly rated, I would say. I'm sure there are some people that overrate him and some that underrate. I feel like he's a guy who hasn't had some major hype train, at least. That's made him ridiculously expensive or anything like that. He's got upside, I think, but yeah, we'll see. He was a rookie last year. He wasn't my favorite guy coming out of the draft. I thought he had a solid year. I think he's better for full PPR than other formats. All right. Let's get you the link, and then I'll go over the news. So here's the link. I gotta get going today, so if it's completely dead, we'll just do one draft. Stick around maybe a little bit just to see, but trying to be out by 9 or, somewhere around there, 9:15, 9:20 at the latest. Have some errands that I gotta run before places close for the night. So, link down in the description. You click that link. Here. Click that to join in the sleeper mock draft. It's free, y'all. There we go. Yeah, if it's just us, no doubt. If someone doesn't mind, no doubt. 8-man. Wow. I've never done an 8-man draft. Yeah, as long as there's nobody to argue against it, because that's not too common. But you got an 8-man team that you're going to be in the role. All right. Reports over the last day. Ja'Marr Chase continues to hold in after his head coach had made some comments a couple of days ago that basically the hold-in was over after he had a practice, spoke a little bit too early, and the holding is not over for Ja'Marr Chase. I think his coach misread things without totally understanding the situation. Ja'Marr Chase was probably just practicing in good faith, getting ready for week 1, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, well, everything's good and dandy. Wipe our hands off of that. And Chase was like, no, I'm still holding out. I was just getting prepped. So we'll see how that saga ends. New England quarterback named Jacoby Brissett will be the starter for week 1. This is just like in Pittsburgh. I think, there was a 90% chance of this being the outcome. So not a surprise there. Drake May will come in at some point in the season. If you look at New England's schedule, I think the timeline that they would love to be able to go with is 4 to 6 weeks, somewhere in there. The schedule starts to get a little easier. It's pretty rough to start the season. Los Angeles Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua is a full participant in practices, according to head coach. So that's good. He had an injury a couple weeks back or something like that. seems like he's good to go. So there you go. No worries there, I guess. Nobody seemingly was worried about that, but um, I had my ears out for any further news on that injury, and it's good news. Kansas City wide receiver Rashee Rice. Recent news coming out. A lot of little news reports have come out over the last couple of days. Continues to push the narrative that although he is not 100% clear this season, as in something could come up that would cause the NFL to have an instant reaction. But otherwise, waiting for the legal system, and yes, things could all of a sudden happen in the legal system very quickly, but probably won't. The timeline that is expected is like December, January, so really at the end of the year. So he should be pretty safe for you fantasy-wise, and even once legal action is taken, once that legal process starts, it's not like it's going to end within a week, but even at that point, once it ends, the NFL still has to do its own investigation, which they're usually pretty thorough, it seems like, because they don't move incredibly quickly. So I think that I'm pretty safe with Rashee Rice unless something, bombshell news comes out that we're not aware of so far. And San Francisco wide receiver Brandon Ayuk signed his contract. That is the big news of the day. It just happened about an hour ago. 120 mil, 4 years. So congrats to Brandon Ayuk. Got his money. The teams that wanted him just weren't winning teams. And I think when faced with the reality of it, Brandon Ayuk said, okay, I'll sacrifice a few $1,000,000 to be on a good team and enjoy my job. And that's probably the right choice. So he all sounds are that he didn't really earn any money over the past 3 weeks. That's been the most recent offer that's been on the table. But the market spoke to him, and he said, I'm not too interested, actually. Never mind. So I think everybody's happy in that. That's one of those situations where you sit there, you hold out for more money, but then after you sign it, you say, all right, well, you know what? That's not so shabby. 120 million. I think I can handle that. So that's all of the news. Currently, we've got 4 votes in. Will Ja'Marr Chase being a lot of faith in Ja'Marr Chase playing week 1. There were comments that this question did come because the comment from the coach today was just like, I spoke too early about him being available week 1. He specified that. So we'll see. But I lean yes, but not very strongly. So I would be curious as to everybody who voted yes, how strongly they feel about that. But 3 out of 4 people so far saying yes, he will be. Howdy, Howard 7, Rutgers 24. If you're not aware, football extraordinaire covering that game today, and stop by to give us a little score update. Rutgers was favored by 30-something odd points, so they are not killing Howard as much as they should be, but I think that game's probably coming down to the last 10 minutes of it or less than that. All right, so we will give people a little bit of time to get in here while I alter some draft settings to come join us for a mock draft. Currently, it looks like we're going to do an 8-team. The roll, let me know. 38.5 was the line there for that Howard-Rutgers game. The roll, let me know. Do you have a preference here? PPR, half PPR? No, you said 2 quarterback. Never mind. You already let me know. 8:30 left in the third. Oh, wow. I thought it was at like halftime an hour ago. Oh, I guess that was only like... Never mind. Okay. Wasn't an hour ago. 2 quarterback. Running back, wide receiver, tight end, flex. Kicker, defense. So, just thinking 2 quarterback in an 8-team league. 8, 16, 24, 32. There's enough for 4 quarterbacks for every team. Yeah, I'm probably still... I think it would be a 6-team league is about where in a 2 quarterback, where I wouldn't be too worried about getting a 3rd quarterback on my roster. But specifically in a 2 quarterback league, you also want that backup quarterback, I think, on your roster. Yeah, let's make sure everything's held here. Just in case people come in, I am going to push our timer on this one to 60 seconds, actually. I see somebody's hopped on in here. Thank you for coming on through. So, heads up. Juan. Currently practicing, looking, there's a request from the role, 8-team, 2 quarterback. We can always do that as the second draft. You're in here. You're not always around, so I do, if there is a format that you want to practice for, I can quick update those settings and we can practice that. Or if you're interested in doing this, all the better. The role would like to get some practice here, and that would help him out too. So let me know. Right now it's 2 quarterback, 3 wide receiver, 3 flex. Oh, wow. No running back? Well, this is fun, if nothing else. We'll take 1 bench spot off of there. All right, Juan. Speak now or never. I am going to go... I'll go for pick 6 here. Let the computer take care of the earlies. Awesome. Nasty hand injury for Howard. That's no bueno. Never like to see anybody, especially college kids. All right. Looks like we're going to do it. Let's do it. This is going to be... Did I keep it? Okay. We'll do a 1 minute and a half timer on this. Cryo Dragon. 2 quarterback cryo. 3 wide receiver. 3 flex. So... this will be a fun one. If you guys want to get in a normal one after this, we can do that. And then I've got to go. We are going to 5, 4, 3, 2, Lego, and start this thing. All right, 1 on the clock. We got Patrick Mahomes, Hurts off the board, McCaffrey off. Does he go quarterback or wide receiver? Man. A lot of starting players in that league. Juan goes with Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson. I'm up. You know, I'm definitely an advocate of quarterbacks. But given all of the wide receiver and flex spots, I got to think that the value of these wide receivers is pretty strong as well. By the way, guys, a football extraordinaire there in chat, just giving us some updates, letting you know about the Rutgers versus Howard game. I know a game everybody's, you know, just dying to know the stats for, but that is where those stats are coming from. So as you can see, that game is ongoing. Just in the third, yeah, 8 minutes left in the third, 19 carries, 165 yards. Dang, what's his name? That's a good start. I guess they are playing against Howard. All right, Bijan, Brees, Joe. Well, and AR. That doesn't leave me with too much of an option here. I think I got to go CJ Stroud there. Tyreek Hill would have been interesting there. I thought you said Kylie Minogue, which is probably not a name you're familiar with. Marvin Harrison, put that card in there quick. And I will go with Saquon pretty quickly here. Kyle Monagle. Do you know what year he is? This will end up being 19 rounds. Hmm. So I assume you're looking between wide receiver, running back. Tough choice there. Or tight end. Last year's school. All right. You're a big fan of him. I'll have to check him out. Bob Smith, what up, man? I made my pick. Not sure why it's not going through. All right, who'd you pick? I'll pause it. You can reset if you want, get back in and whatnot, and I will. Get your crystal lobby. There you go. I got a little bit of time to come back in. All right, and we will resume. Oh. I wonder if it's sleeper. That's misbehaving here. Time's up. Oh, I just skipped right through my pick. So I think I was on the clock. Hold up. I'm gonna pause you for a minute. I'm gonna pause this for a second. Ah, Juan. Let's see here. I think I would have gone like Mike Evans here. So I'll just do that. That'll work. Juan, would you have wanted Derrick Henry? I can switch that out for you if you do. Slitty got offered Jacobs, Coleman for Najee, Higgins, Juan. I'm just keeping. I'll restart it once I hear back from you. Just want to make sure you're good with Ayuk still, or if you wanted me to switch that out, I can. Okay, there we go. Got offered Jacobs slash Keon Coleman. One of the. Is that Josh Jacobs or Coleman, or Josh Jacobs and Coleman? For Najee, T. Higgins, kind of feeling Jacobs would be my RB2 behind Kamara and Keon my second flex. Najee and Higgins for Keon Coleman and Josh Jacobs. I think I would stick with Najee and Higgins myself. What is... I guess I'm just on auto draft on here. Okay. Everybody else is being able to draft, so I don't know what to. I'm not gonna mess with it too much. That would be obnoxious. But it keeps skipping past me, and I don't know what happens if I leave. So I'll just let it be. Let you guys go, and I'll commentate on it. What do you guys think? If you're in Slitty's spot, to me, I don't love Najee, but I think the difference between Coleman and Higgins is much bigger than the difference between Jacobs and Najee. So I'm not a big fan of that. Says, yeah, I mean, and how am I supposed to turn myself off of auto draft, you know? So, something happened funkily, so I'll just let it auto draft me. Nothing I can do about that really right now. Unfortunately, if it does something that I really disagree with, maybe I'll quick pause it and change it, or maybe I'll try to do that. Actually, that's fine. I'm still fine with it. A lot of wide receivers. Go right ahead. Kind of attracted to it mainly because I have Allen for that juicy stack. Uh, okay. How juicy is that stack though? So you're a believer in Keon Coleman, I take it then? I mean, he's probably not going to come out of the gate and be great. But that's true, generally that's something that you should not expect from a rookie. So I would assume that you kind of your second flex like, yeah. And maybe you have somebody else on your bench too that for week 1 or 2 you could pop out there if you don't feel quite comfortable with it. I mean, this is what I say. If you like it, then just accept it. It doesn't matter what other people think. It's close, and it's not like, oh my gosh, you're getting ripped off or anything like that. It really does come down to what you think about Coleman. I would rather Jacobs than Najee. So if you're close on Coleman and Higgins, then go right ahead. I tend to think that the distance between the two in the draft. Hey, I'm okay with my team overall. I would have gone with Waddle over Adams. That's about it so far. So this is working out fine. Cook, I love it there for my second running back. Hopefully, it grab me a second quarterback soon, though. I was thinking by right around here, might be wanting to take Jaden Daniels off. Wow. Actually, speaking of, they're lasting a while. Yeah, man. Slitty, I mean, if you like it, it's fine. I tend to think Najee and Higgins are going to end up scoring more fantasy points than Jacobs and Coleman. But for Najee, I mean, there's a chance that Jaylen Warren not only outproduces him, but like becomes the main guy at some point this season. So there is that downside with Najee where he would, become maybe fairly useless even. Josh Jacobs, there's not enough competition behind him. Not this year, that's for sure. They're free falling. About he will be a name to watch in the draft. I assume that was PFF or FFF. Just a heads up for your draft board. Yeah, I know, man, and I appreciate you stuck by me throughout the offseason too. Getting into topics that you normally haven't gotten into in terms of fantasy. But yeah, that's what I was saying. That's why I asked you for his name, which I gotta put it Kylie. I'm just gonna have to remember him as Kylie Minogue. Which, if you're not familiar, I'll get you the spelling on this. You young guns might not know who that is. Probably don't know who that is. Almost certainly don't. I believe an Australian singer, Kylie Minogue. I think she was in a movie somewhat recently. There you go. Great song. What was it? What song was she known for? Can't Get You Out of My Head from way back in 2001, baby. Oh my god. Can't believe that song's that old. Get you out of my head. Okay. Kyle Pitts, not my favorite, but that's okay. I think he's definitely got a shot of being very good. Come on, Jane Daniels makes it here. Then you got everything the FF Forge auto drafting. Alright, so what are we doing so far? Oh, here we go. Turn off my auto. Ugh. Just as it takes. Whatever, that's fine. Alright, I'm back in it. I've got all my okay. All starting spots are covered for on my squad here. Well, this is tough. think we'll take that third quarterback here. Get that short up. With Kirk. You kill every draft the role. Kalika Manis, 16-yard run. Kalika Manis. Kaliakmanis. That's a name. That is a name. Like a praying mantis. What did I miss out on? Alright, definitely wide receivers. I think... Get one more running back in here. 2, 3, 4, 5. I think if this 1, 2, 3, 4. I think if this was the settings, I would probably be satisfied with 4 running backs, the one time and only time. Because I got to fill up 3 wide receivers. Well, we'll see. Maybe 5 running backs, just because they're kind of falling talent-wise. But definitely want some wide receivers. I got to fill up 3 of those every single week. Yeah, 1 injury, 2 bye weeks, and I'm already just barely filling out my wide receivers. Kaliak McManus. Is it spelled Mick like that? Not McManus? I think we will take the handcuff here. Yeah, 8 wide receivers should be enough. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Kaliak McManus. Kaliak McManus. Is it still one word? Taking Chase Brown. Couple of nice picks there. In the 15th round. Definitely saw some running back value kind of drop a little ways, even more, which I think makes sense, but also something you could take advantage with this format of drafting. Touchdown Rutgers on 2nd and 25. Here you go, Rutgers. Seal the game away. Ooh. Going for Drake May as the QB3. Grab Khalil. Close between Jalen Wright and Khalil Mack there. Ah, oh, cryo. You jerk. Alright, I'll go Brandon Aubrey then. 12 for 21, 120 something odd yards, 2 touchdowns. 12 for 21. That's a little bit rough. Would be Cleveland in that case. All right, there's our final rosters there. That was fun. I like that wide receiver room there. Less of a fan of the running back room, but quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, all good. Backup quarterback taking a shot. Can't argue against that. Both of you taking your quarterbacks nice and early. Let's see how much that hurts at wide receiver. Yeah, I mean, I can see it if it's full PPR, especially like those two. If it's full PPR, I like this more than like half or standard, as you go down. Managed to pull it together with the running back room, so you kind of had to sacrifice a little bit of running back room basically to get that third quarterback there. But you're able to cobble something together there, so that should work out, and if it does, that helps go a long ways. And you got the tight end there too. Nice. So a definite nice stronghold for the running back position. Of course, the quarterback position. A little thin at wide receiver. Obviously, you can be doing a lot of running backs as your flexes. So 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Swift. Hey, you're pretty much going to be doing all running backs for your flexes. At least early season. Any kind of injury to the wide receiver position, especially early season, you might be in trouble there in the role. But other than that, nice job. I got Aaron there. Wanted Ramondre. Oh, he got swiped up for me there. Wanted Ramondre around this turn. Are you from the area, Juan? Or are you just a Pats fan? Well, that's a pretty good living if you're a Pats fan. Can you send? If anybody's, you're gonna be streaming a game tonight. Which game is that? Just a Pats fan. Nice. Been to Boston. I was gonna say it's a nice area. I like Boston. We'll do a normal draft. Do you guys, Juan and anybody in chat, do you have a preference for 12 team, 10 league, 10 team, full PPR, half PPR? Let me know what you would like. Oh, okay. Okay. So if you want, you can go over to, well, I mean, there you go. You have his page. You can, I think, just follow it from here, right? Football Extraordinaire is covering the Rutgers versus Brown game, if you can't tell. You're going to go to Gillette. Nice. Single. Down for single flex. Yeah, I'll do. I will do one flex. Do you want full PPR, half PPR? And do you want 2 wide receiver or 3 wide receiver? All right, let me get the link there in chat. Here you go. Link to come in for the second draft here. And then I gotta go. So, all right, full PPR, 2 wide receiver, single flex. We'll do it. 12 team. Let me know if you want 10 team. Otherwise, we're going 12 team. We'll do a minute and a half. That was long enough. Two wide receiver, 1 flex. All right. And a third, Howard. Gonna be tough for them to make a comeback there. Okay. Draft is ready. I don't think I've ever drafted from spot 2. We got the 4 of us in here. We'll wait for a miracle, see if anybody else wants to get involved with this. Currently 8 votes in, and still looks like a 7-1 for the poll that I have in favor of Jamar Chase playing week 1. So a lot of faith there that he'll get things done. Make rounds 1 minute. You're not even in here, Mike. Why would I make rounds 1 minute for you? Juan, do you want rounds 1 minute? Or are you seconding that? Oh, you're cryo? Alright, attaboy. You know what? It's because there's Moist Mike that comes in here sometimes. I don't know if you've drafted with him, but I got a Moist Mike in here. I knew I recognized Cryo Dragon, and I couldn't remember who it was. And I was like, well, they just want to be quiet today. Well, what is he talking about then? They got me, we got Bob, we got Juan, we got the roll. Freaking Christ. Freaking Christ. Alright. He tricked me. So we'll stick with 1.5 minutes, but I'll try not to take up my whole time. And with that, let's get going. Sorry for the delay, folks. Technical error, which was my brain. Obviously, we'll take Christian McCaffrey. Well, I tend to like CeeDee Lamb more. I usually go CeeDee over Christian, actually. But I'll go Christian here. Amonra goes ahead of Jamar Chase there, so you see a little bit of that concern about Chase eking in, maybe. Looks like the computer's faith in Jahmyr Gibbs is fully restored. He was dropping for a little while there, somewhat in drafts, but I think there hasn't been any more news on his injury. I think people have grown comfortable again with him to a full extent. And the roll takes my Chris Olave around the turn, who I really like. Part of the reason of being happy with going Christian McCaffrey here is because he can make it around to me. Might have to go running back. Ayuk is there. Mike Evans is there. You've already got one wide receiver, team 1, so I don't care if I get Ayuk or Evans. I will go with Josh Jacobs. I believe he's my highest ranked running back available. And I do have Mike Evans higher than Brandon Ayuk. I had Ayuk higher, now I've got him lower. I don't know. It's close. Howard driving it. There we go. Make it a game, Howard. Well, we got, what was that? Was that last night or a couple of nights ago? We saw the comeback. I mean, it was by the favored team, but, what state is that? Montana? MSU? Came back to win it in a game that they were favored but had been trailing for most of the game? Montana, okay. And what is it? Because it's not MSU. They're, I want to say Mustangs, but maybe they just go by MSU too? Scoring 21 in the fourth to win. There we go. Look at that steel trap of a memory. Alright, we got our 2 running backs. So, yeah. Nothing stands out as a must-have. I like Tank Dell quite a bit. Could I? you know, let's go for the stack. That's fun. We'll do it. SMU, thank you. And it's like the South Montana State University. That's where Rashee Rice is from. Right? SMU? I shouldn't say it's where he's from. It's where he played. I don't know that he grew up in the area. Dalton Kincaid at the end of the 5th round. You just gotta love it when that happens. Kyle Pitts and George Kittle going. Yeah, that'll do it. That happened in my draft, so that is something that can happen. Ah, Rutgers. Boo. Now you gotta ruin all the fun. Speaking of Ray Rice. Speaking of Rashee Rice. Good God. Let's not speak of Ray Rice. Yeah. Well, this is usually like I would take Rice right here. You jerk. I think it's Jaden Reed for me. And I'll get my boy here in Zamir White for that 3rd running back spot. We'll let those two fight it out depending on the week. Or my flex. UNC's been... Gosh, they don't even have Drake May. Do they have anybody in the wings there in UNC to take over for Drake May? Or are they back to being a... They weren't even good with Drake May, hardly. Are they going to be any good this year? Cryo getting Mostert. Gotta love that in the 7th round. Got some faith in Nick Chubb there, Juan. Might want to get another running back. Gonna be a little while. Oh, they went and got someone in the transfer portal. Somebody donated a bunch of money to that quarterback's pockets. Don't take Elijah Mitchell. That's true. He ain't playing. Zach Moss is, though. Cryo with that strong wide receiver room. I like that. And then you can just retire the wide receivers right there, right? Going with the, you've been listening to me too much. Going with the old quarterback, tight end fade. I am going to not ruin that totally for you. Jonathan Brooks, tempting. I think my wide receiver room needs a little lift here, though, yet. It ain't exciting, but I feel like he's still got another year, some decent output. Might regret it, might not. I'll know because I have him on my actual fantasy roster. And Fergie Ferg. I'm not loving this 2 spot. It's probably because I went and dipped in for CJ Stroud for all that fun. think I've made better rosters, but I don't know. You can argue for this one. Let's see, Cryo, what you cooking up there? I was just looking at yours not too long ago. It's Cook, Montgomery, Mostert, getting the underdogs, getting Jaden Daniels in there. I mean, you know I like that team, Cryo. Juan, Garrett, Pickens, Rice, going for it with the wide receivers. Sutton, full PPR probably would help this team more than half. Barkley, Chubb, Moss, Chase Brown, nice pick. You know I like that. Mark Andrews, Jackson stacking right in there, so that's why. So, you know, do I like this more than my team? I think the only reason I don't is George Pickens, but you know, I mean George Pickens obviously I'm low on him. If he does what you're expecting him to do, then you're pretty nicely set up there. Got Jane Reed already, so I can't take Romeo Dobbs. Do you think I need a wide receiver? As always, it's Khalil or did Josh? No. Can I? Is he that low? Josh Downs? All right. We'll grab Khalil Shakir up. And yeah, we might need to run some running backs in our flex spot some weeks, so we'll take JK off the board there. Justin H, what up, homie? 12 man, you've got the 10th pick. Okay, so this is your team. You got St. Brown, Wilson, Cook. I mean, getting St. Brown and Wilson's pretty darn nice there. And I like James Cook a lot. Travis Kelce, Mahomes. I think there's better value to be had. Mahomes, the value argument probably won't matter very much, anyways. Travis Kelce, I think he could end up letting you down a little bit. Pollard, Moss. Should be a solid duo. I have my concerns for Zach Moss, but should be good. Should be good, considering they're going to be kind of pick or choose. Palmer, Herbert, Neighbors. Oh yeah, Neighbors buried down there. Nice. Coleman, Dowdle. I don't know about Dowdle with they just picked up here and Shaheed. I like your starting lineup. Dowdle, I think you can find somebody that's probably better. The team has shown zero faith in him, in my opinion. They brought back Ezekiel Elliott, you know, a skeleton that they were ready to move on from just 2 years prior. A skeleton of himself, you know, he's not fantastic. And they immediately brought him back and immediately, you know, we don't know for sure. And I think we know by now. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott is ahead of him. And I think that was immediate. And then they went and brought Dalvin Cook in. And I know he's just on the practice squad, but Dalvin Cook's not just signing up on somebody's practice squad so that he can go and practice every day. There's an understanding of some level of usage that is expected for him or some level of a chance of getting used a lot. So I just don't think that the team has showed any faith in Rico Dowdle. So I think even if there's an injury with Zeke, I know some people really have been touting his name prior to. I don't know how they're taking the news of bringing in Dalvin Cook, but I mean, to me that just concerns me for a guy who I didn't feel like the team was showing love for already. Mike Williams is a guy who I missed this on the news segment, is expected to be playing week 1 now. And with a roster like this, I am going to take a little bit of a risk and just go for it with Mike Will, actually. And I think get ourselves a Jalen Wright there, too. Yeah. We might not want to always have a wide receiver in our flex spot here, so we'll get a couple of options at running back there. Colorado up 14-10 early on in the second. Also low on Pickens, but don't think he is a terrible. Yeah. Thanks for sticking in there, Juan, and letting Justin know a little bit of your opinion too. I'm concerned about him with that offense and everything. I think he's going to be inconsistent. I definitely think there's going to be some massive games, but I also think there's going to be some duds. And if you have, St. Brown, Wilson, Neighbors, I think you could find yourself on the wrong side of who did you start in your flex if it's a 2 wide receiver league between Neighbors and him often enough, or you just find yourself playing Neighbors, almost most weeks, and then you're going to feel like, well, I mean, I guess then you have a fantastic backup for injury and bye weeks at that point. So, I mean, that's a good wide receiver room. Should be. See ya, man. Thanks for coming on through, stopping in, showing some support. Always appreciated. I think we'll go ahead. Oh, New York Jets already taken. We'll take one more shot at these wide receivers quick. I have a little bit of confidence in the preseason. Some of the rookies for Baltimore showed up. I was a little bit worried about them preseason, off season, but yeah. What's his name? Nick. Why can't I think of his name? Cornerback. Nate Wiggins. Was showing out real good. That could go a long ways for Baltimore because that was like the biggest area of concern for me on that defense. That secondary again. Well, biggest area? Linebackers. How do I feel about Garrett Wilson this year? Have him in my league. Hope he has a big year. I mean, I think he has it. I think he should compete with Amon St. Brown for whatever that's worth, which means I think that he has. So CD, Amon St. Brown, Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, probably AJ Brown. I have some concerns there. Tyreek Hill. To me, I think that's like the most likely outcome for the top 5 will be Tyreek Hill, CD Lamb, Amon-Ra, Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson. Especially full PPR. AJ Brown might be a little bit inconsistent, a little more competition there too with Devonta Smith in town and a year older. Do I have to take somebody? I do. Daniil Carlson. So, yeah, I mean, I am pretty hopeful for him. I would have liked if Aaron Rodgers had. So that's going to be it for tonight, guys. I would have liked if Aaron Rodgers would have spent some offseason time with these guys. He hasn't played for a while. They didn't get to play any real game last year. I just would have liked to see him more involved in the offseason. Getting a better connection with his wide receivers. But there's not much competition there for down in and down out, receptions. It's between him and Breece Hall, I think, are the 2 best receivers on that team. So, on a down in and down out. Mike Williams, we'll see how he recovers from that injury and everything. If he's 80% of his own self, obviously he's probably technically a better receiver than Breece Hall, but totally different beans there. So I mean, I'm he's done pretty good in terms of fantasy and in real world football with not much at quarterback. So if Aaron Rodgers can be 80% of himself, then Garrett Wilson should be. I think we'll have very few weeks where he'll disappoint. To a point where he'll like hurt your team. I don't see any goose eggs as long as Aaron Rodgers is healthy and in at quarterback. That's probably the biggest concern. Aaron Rodgers staying healthy all year. And he's had his injuries. I mean, it's not a guaranteed thing, but he usually only missed. I think he only had one like season-ending injury at least. So he's a guy I wish I had on one of my teams. You know, just didn't work out like that. But I'm excited to see him with an actual quarterback. All right. Quick synopsis on the teams. So yeah, I mean, I made up for it with the wide receivers going deep, I think, here. And I also, even if I don't hit on like any of these wide receivers, I got myself a few extra running backs that can play just to help, line that up. And then we got the stack there, so I like that. Cryo mentioned I love that team to start off with, how you built it. Pat Frymuth, a little concerned about. He is splitting reps with Darnell Washington, second-year tight end. Last I heard, so I don't look more into that if he's like a target of yours to verify that information. But that is what I heard from I want to say as the fantasy footballers. So I would trust them if that was the source, but I don't recall the source. Let's see. You finish this off with Ford, Charbonnet, McLaughlin. Charbonnet's not my. I would rather Jalen Wright than Charbonnet just because I think it's a better role if he ends up getting that role. But I understand, you could say there's two guys in front of Wright, but I don't think so because I think if either one of them go down, then Wright gets an opportunity. And for Zach Charbonnet, Ben Grubbs, is it Ben? Their offensive coordinator didn't utilize the running back position a whole lot in college. Very pass heavy. He's going to utilize the running back more, but old habits die hard. So we'll see how much more. And I don't know what the upside is necessarily for those guys in Seattle, those running backs. So he's just not my favorite backup. Jaleel McLaughlin, I think he'll have some minor usage week in and week out for emergency situations, and I think he's a fine backup. I only concern later on in the year, does Audric Estime become like the actual backup? But Denver locals seem to think a lot of Jaleel McLaughlin. Juan, thanks, fun drafts. Glad you liked it. I'd love to do one more today, but I do have to. I like to do my shopping and stuff at night when places aren't busy because I live in an area that's had a lot of growth in recent years, so the infrastructure really isn't there, and so places are busy almost all the time. Garrett Wilson, Pickens, Rice, Sutton, Palmer, Douglas. I like the wide receiver room. Running back room will shape up. You can put Nick Chubb on an IR spot, hopefully, and get one more running back shot here. Yeah, that second running back spot is going to be. I mean, I think it'll end up being Chase Brown as the option, and I think he'll be a fine RB2. So I guess at the end of the day, I like it just a little bit thin, maybe. I don't know. You got Chuba Hubbard that you can play early season too. So that works. That works. And then Lamar and Mark Andrews, nice. Sinnett, I think there needs to be an injury in front of him, and even then, he's a rookie tight end. But I did like him a lot in the draft, so could do worse. But I have him ranked kind of low. I'm not too gung ho. I have him ranked lower than the rankers, the average expert. London, Olave, Metcalf, Allen, Leggett. Nice wide receiver room. Legat's not my favorite. I don't know that that'll work out, but it has a chance to work out for sure. I don't have him ranked. I have him ranked like where he goes, so I'm not obviously mad about that. Running backs. Okay. All right. I see the vision. It took me a moment. I had to kind of read into it, but I gotcha. I got the Elliott, Dalvin Cook train there. I mean, I got to imagine for where you're getting them in drafts, the running back of Dallas, whether that's Elliott or Kellick, is going to be worth every penny of being, the ninth round running back. Caleb Williams, Kirk Cousins, nice. Likely. Not a bad backup these days with a couple of questions surrounding Mark Andrews. Currently missed practice a couple days. I don't know if he missed. I wonder. Did he miss practice today? Two days ago. No updates over the last day. So they might not have had practice today. Day off on Thursday. All right. That is it, gents. It was a joy. I got a question here, it looks like. Reborn Jungle 173. Thanks for coming on through, Reborn. Hope to see you around more. Got the 9th pick in a 10-team full PPR league. All right. Thoughts and targets. I'm on ESPN, so running backs are favored more in ADP. 10-team, pick 10. 9th pick. That's where I was. So for me, hold up. I'll show you a couple. Let's see. In this example, I went Saquon Barkley, Chris Olave because, well, I'm high on Chris Olave and I'm not high on some of those other wide receivers. Look at all of that Photoshop. So here's an ESPN League one that we did online. And, I was not in the 9th pick on this one. Jamar Chase made it to me. Can I find the NFL rankings on here? Fantasy football. I know they just had a big rankings update recently. So, okay. Full PPR rankings. Awesome. Show them to me. Really? Okay. I can't see your overall rankings? What the do I have to go into... Why make this so hard? Is this going to be their overall rankings here? No. Bruh. Where's their mock drafts? I don't care. PPR. Can I go into it? Or do I have to wait? Darn it. Okay. Let me just go to the Fantasy Pros and... Pick 9. Okay, I'm a little bit scorned by A.J. Brown, so I kind of avoided him. He's obviously a really good pick there. He just really struggled down the stretch last season. I had him. He was excellent to start the season. I don't know what the heck happened in Philadelphia. Something in the water. That whole team struggled down the stretch. He was a part of it. Obviously, still finished the season really well. He's a really good target. And if these wide receivers are all taken, he's like the last one I want, and then there's a chance that you can get Jonathan Taylor around the turn. Let's see, or that's where you're starting to like, or ETN or Kyron Williams if you still feel comfortable with that. I probably wouldn't recommend that. So you're kind of hoping one of them get around. I think you just have to look at it. I think you want to start off one wide receiver, running back there. Or wide receiver. I'd prefer than running back, even though that's tempting to start it off with. But from the 9th spot, it's kind of hard to pull off as well. My targets. My heart says Garrett Wilson, by the way, over A.J. Brown. So if you like that, I'm not going to argue against that. Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley. Obviously, like I told you, that he is a target of mine. I was gonna look at that other team here. So this is what I did in this draft was Saquon Barkley, and then around the turn was Chris Olave, and here's the team that I ended up with. You see really good wide receivers, and I was able to get my running back targets late. I feel comfortable with a lot of the late running backs, and I still got James Cook there in like the 4th. So nice starting running back duo. Dalton Kincaid fell to me a little bit. If you go Saquon first, you know you're not getting a second running back, and you're most likely looking at. To me, it's Chris Olave, Drake London, Marvin Harrison Jr., Devontae Adams as your next pick. Puka, if you want, I would advise against that over those guys, I think, by a little ways. Waddle's pretty high up on here. Yeah, it really feels what you're most comfortable with. If Justin Jefferson falls to you, I'm not taking the bait. I'd rather AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs. Otherwise, if any of these guys fall to you, definitely take whichever one falls to you. But hard to say their targets. They don't normally make it to you at pick 9. So it's Saquon or AJ Brown, most likely for me. And I think you just play around with that of what's most likely to come around. Planning on taking the opposite position. And do you like that? Which one do you like more to decide if you want to take the running back or the wide receiver first? If the draft goes as expected. If it doesn't go as expected, great. Maybe somebody falls to you. But that's what I got for your Reborn. Yeah. I did not love drafting from that spot in the draft. We'll just put it like that. So, for me, it was Saquon Barkley, and I like Chris Olave over those other guys, so I took him, and that was the plan going into the draft that I came up with. So, those were my targets, I guess you could say, was Saquon Barkley, Chris Olave. If you really want it. But I understand not everybody's on the same page as Chris Olave, with me as on Chris Olave, and I get why not. So, I'm not going to push it. All right. Any other questions before I head on out here? We can end this thing. What is this? I got a news alert, I think. Oh, Brock Purdy is the biggest winner in the... Yeah, that's true. Brock Purdy's stock just stopped from falling. Broncos held up Ayuk trade. 49ers reportedly proposed 3-team deal to send Ayuk to the Steelers, but Broncos did not agree to the terms. Well, that would have been fun. You don't see too many three-team trades. I suppose that's because it's tough enough to get 2-team trades done in the NFL. Let's see. End the poll here, just in case Reborn's typing anything up. Give you a moment. And the final results of the poll, if they would show themselves. Anytime. Was dramatically in favor of Ja'Marr Chase being available week 1. And I think that that's going to bring us to the end of the stream. So thank you very, very much. I look forward. I will be here tomorrow night, on Saturday during the day, on Sunday during the day, in case you have any practicing to do for your holiday weekend. And Monday, dependent upon how successful the weekend is. All right. Peace on out, gents.